What's crack-a-lackin', everybody? It's your boy. You probably don't even know who I am. Doesn't matter. I hope you've had a great Halloween with your friends, your family, or your cat. You like how I got some jellyfish swimming in the background? They're so cool. I wanted to hop on real quick and give you guys an awesome tutorial on how to make cinematic footage in Adobe Premiere Pro. I mean, it just looks so good. It looks so good, and I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna help you. Just take my hand. I'm gonna help you get to the land of cinematic prosperity. So let's hop into it. Okay, so let's hop into Premiere. And I got a couple footage, or a couple of shots of some B-roll segments that I shot in 60 frames per second. So I'll be putting them on my timeline, and I'll be dropping the speed 40% to give it more of that slow-mo look. So, you know, this is a way to kind of make footage look cinematic, is having some B-roll footage. So let's just chuck on, okay, right here. Just chuck the video on right here. Cool. So keep in mind, I shot this in 60 frames per second, but I have a 24 FPS timeline. So I'm gonna just drop the speed down. Here we go. Let's go to speed duration, and I'll drop it down to 40%. I believe that's give or take a 24 FPS look. So there you go. He's running. So that made it, you know, just that little bit made it look even just a tiny bit more cinematic. But you know, it's still just my dog running on the grass. So let's get into color correcting a bit. So what we're gonna do is just click on new item here and hit adjustment layer, and okay, chuck on our adjustment layer right here, even it out. See, I'm gonna stretch this timeline out a bit so we have more room. Okay, now I'm gonna select the adjustment layer and then come up over here and select the adjustment layer icon. Now let's hit our basic correction key right here. And okay, the first couple things you want to do is like, okay, do I need to bring the exposure up? Absolutely not. I'll just leave it to where it was. Okay, and then contrast. It all depends on how you want your footage to look. Everybody's footage is going to look different. So if you want it to look a little bit more contrasty, you know, you could just shoot your contrast up a little bit, and let's see how that looks compared to how it was. So yeah, I like a little bit just deeper. I feel like the contrast brings out more clarity of the image. You see more of detail inside the image. And let's see, highlights, we'll shoot it up just ever so slightly, I think. And then shadows, we'll bring that down a tiny bit. Blacks, bring it down a little bit. And whites. Now, no way am I a professional color corrector. I just mess around with the tools and see, you know, what looks good to me. So that looks a little bit better than what it was. So just for the sake of time, I'll keep it at that. Now we can go over to this temperature tool over here, and it depends if you want your footage to look, you know, like if it's at like sunset or something, you can bring in more of an orange tone to it. And as you see, like, okay, that looks like later on in the day or near sunset. Or if you want to make your footage look like have more of a cool effect, like a cooler effect where, you know, there's scenarios where we don't want it to be all bright and perky. You want it to be, you know, darker tone. So you can bring it on down a little bit. But for the sake of this, I'd say, let's go back to normal. I'd say I wouldn't even really need to do anything with that. I like it where it's at. So the next thing we can do is if we come on down to the curves icon selection thing, where we'll go to the first little curve line thing. Sorry, I'm totally not sounding professional at this, but yeah, so the first curve, all you want to do is just kind of make just the ever so slightest curve. So that brings up highlights and down here, give it a little bit more shadow. Even just like the slightest S curve, it just gives it more of that, like, I don't know, that professional look. So that was before. Now let's go check out just what we've done so far. Sorry, it's a little bit choppy, but you get what I mean. So it's giving it more of that cinematic feel to it. So pause, go master adjustment. So it makes it pop a little bit more. You know, I'm definitely not professional at this, but I'm learning. So, you know, once you're happy with what you've done with basic correction, even you could even mess around with saturation a little bit. I tend to try to not mess around with it too much just because it's kind of aggressive. So after that, you got your S curve, you've done your little basic correction. Now let's put in those like cinematic bars. Now what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting black bars on, you know, bottom and top, but it's going to be covering basically some of your footage. Like, it's not going to actually compress your footage and make it look like, you know, that cinematic bar look. Like, it's going to take out little bits of your footage, but it'll give you the illusion that it was shot in, you know, like it looked like it was shot on a professional camera, like a Red or, you know, whatever cinematic cameras there are. So to do that, we just hop onto effects, and then we're going to type in the crop, and then we're going to just drag the crop onto our adjustment layer. And now that we have the adjustment layer selected, we'll come up here and go to effects control. And now you'll see the crop icon is here. So what you want to do is go to top, and typically I'll do 12%. So it gives that little bit right there. And then bottom, 12%. So gives it that cinematic look. I'm sorry if my computer's a bit laggy. So yeah, it kind of gives it that little bit more of a cinematic feel to it. Now, depending upon what scene you have, I would recommend adding like music and some sound effects, because that really, noise and sound really impact the mood of your scene. So right here, I didn't grab any sound effects, but I'll put a link down in the description of an awesome website to get sound effects. It's called Epidemic Sound. You get, you know, royalty-free music and all that, so you won't get copyrighted or anything. But, you know, not too many sound effects I could put in there, but let's say if you had a forest up or something, you could put, you know, the noises of birds chirping and, you know, just ambient like forest noises, and, you know, a little bit of music that sets the mood for whatever you're trying to put on. For here, you know, I'd probably just add a little bit of music, but for the sake of this video, I'll just save it. Okay, so now a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people, you know, that you may watch, they may have this thing called, you know, LUTs, which is essentially presets for your footage. Now, I have a LUT pack that I got from a couple of YouTubers that I like, and this is something you can do at the end after you kind of corrected it, color corrected it, and, you know, done an S curve and all that. So basically, essentially, the LUTs are a certain look. Like, if you watch Peter McKinnon or somebody like that, they have a certain look to their footage. And you can download their LUT pack and get that similar looking footage onto your videos. So, for example, I'll go to the Creative tab right here, and make sure your adjustment layer is selected, of course. And then click on Look. And then I'm going to hit the Browse icon. And I'm going to go into my downloads. And here we go. Here's a LUT pack right here. So if we're going for, okay, let's click on Cinema. Open. Okay, so that added a cinematic look to it, but it looks a little bit harsh. So what we're going to want to do is come down to the intensity level and kind of drop that down a bit. So let's see what that looks like at 52%. Let's see. Okay. So Boom. So that gives it kind of a cinematic look as well. Basically, the LUTs are what, you know, whoever's LUT it may be, they went in and color corrected it into, you know, whatever they thought was best. And it gives you a certain style to your video. So it has come a long way from what it was. If we can go back, let's go back to the normal video right here. Pop it up right here. And we'll drag it. And we'll chuck it on. All right, here we go. So, normal video. Looks like just some footage that you took on your video camera. Now, massive improvement. It looks a lot more cinematic, I'd say. Okay, since my computer was a little bit laggy, I'll put the before and after up right now. Alright, so keep in mind that I'm definitely not a professional at this. There are so many amazing people that can color correct and make their footage look amazing. Nor did I really use the best example video, but it worked. You got the point. So let me know if this actually helped you, and I'll be making a lot more of these types of videos in the future. Let me know if, you know, I was coherent enough, or if, you know, everything I did made sense. And if you have a lot of questions, or if you have any kind of questions, just comment down below and I'll get back to all of you, because, you know, don't really have that many subscribers at the moment, so it'll be easy to keep track of all your questions. So let me know if you have questions. And yeah, that's it. So stay tuned. Well, wait, hold on 1 second. So stay tuned for more. And if you enjoyed this, if this helped you out, please like and subscribe, because it helps me out tremendously. And we'll keep growing. We'll keep growing together. So love you guys. Thank you so much. And happy Halloween. Peace.